morning, everybody. It is Tuesday. All right, Tuesday, April 21st. And I'm all by myself today, except for you guys. So that'll be good. And you may see the twins there making mac and cheese right now. So they may pop in and ask questions. And I'm going to shoo them away with the best mothering look possible. It'll be really good. Let me get the disclaimer for you. I'm loving all the stories I'm reading about everybody's moments with kids popping into meetings, dogs popping into meetings, all of the things that are happening while we're live in real life in our own homes. So as you're setting yourself up, hello, as you're setting yourself up today, make sure you have something you can use as a strap. If you have a yoga strap, that's awesome, you can use that. If you do not have a yoga strap, a belt that would keep your pants up would be great. A robe belt, that's kind of lightweight, you can use that. A towel space can be used. Here I go, this is the parenting moment. I'm not answering questions during the next hour and 15 minutes. You guys are on your own, figure it out. That's how it goes, okay. And then we are going to use towels today because I want to do that lovely stuff for the shoulders and upper back. As we are getting going, I think I've said that 3 times now. There we go. Find your breath. Feel it come into your body. And feel it leave. Feel it come into your body. And feel it leave. One more time, feel it come into your body. And feel it leave. And know that in any time during your day, you can take that pause. You can take that pause, you can feel your breath come in and out of your body, and just notice what it is that you need to focus in on. What's the thing that you need to get done in this moment? All right. So what we need to get done right now is to find a couple of towels. And we're going to do a little rolling around to release the shoulder space and the upper back space. So I've got a beach towel here, and I have folded it in half lengthwise. And then I am folding it a half in half again so that the fringy edges are together. And then I am going to roll from the folded edge to the fringy edge. And this is going to go in our upper back space. And we're going to do some rolling around. I think I have arranged the camera correctly so that you guys can see everything that I am doing, particularly since I can't monitor it as I will be doing all the modeling. So I can't monitor it as well as I can when Lance and Carrie Ann are here. So here's your amazing roll. Amazing roll. Little jelly roll of a towel. And you're going to get that set on your mat. And then you can decide if you, when you lie down, if you need a little something behind your head. So I'm going to show you, what that looks like. Towel behind my head, and I can always fold that again. Can you? Yeah. So if I line up my shoulder here, so I'm going to lie down on my right side and bring the towel up under my ear. Sorry, I'm on my left side. So that my armpit is on the towel and the other towel is behind my head. And then I'm just in a fetal position. Knees bent loosely, arms are going to come in. We're just going to stack. And we're going to lie here and check in. This is one of the positions I like to sleep in. So if your body starts to drift you in that space, be aware of it. And let's find the spine. So feel the beginning of your spine. You don't have to use your hand, but think about your tailbone down there near your bottom. And then the part of your spine that's connected to your pelvis. And then your lumbar spine. You've got 5 amazing strong vertebrae there. And then 12 in your thoracic, your rib cage spine. And 7 in your neck. And then your amazing head. Just feel that space. In and out with your nose. If you find yourself drifting away a little bit, go ahead and initiate Ujjayi. So Ujjayi is that little humming sound that we make in yogic breathing. It's that we're closing the glottis a little bit so that there's just a little bit of an oceanic sound. It is not intended to overwhelm. There should be, your pets should not be coming to make sure that you're alive still, or your partner from the other room shouldn't be going, what's going on in there, right? It's just a small sound. That reminds you, hey, I'm in the process of yoga. I'm not just taking a nap, all right? Now, take your upper arm, for me it's my right, and let it hang over your head. So you can't see it, but my hand's just loose. It's on the floor. I'm just letting my elbow roll towards my face a little bit. And I'm just passively stretching along the upper side of my body here. We'll take 5 of those slow breaths. Feeling your rib cage moving. So really bring your attention into the rib cage here. And now I want you to reach your upper arm, so for me again it's the right, up towards the ceiling, and roll the shoulders back and reach back a little bit. You may have a lot of space to go behind you. You may just have a little bit of space to go behind you. So we tend to roll forward with the shoulder and then try to reach back, and that causes a constriction. So let's come upright, turn your palm towards in the same direction as your face, and imagine you're going to give somebody a high five. So you're pushing forward a little bit, and at the same time that you're doing that, you're drawing the head of your upper arm bone back and pushing the scapula onto the surface of the rib cage. So your hand is pushing forward, your scapula, your shoulder blade is pushing forward, and it's lifting the center of your chest. And then you may have a little bit more stretch back. You might not. When it is, this is an unsupported space, so it probably doesn't feel awesome to just let it hang out there. But think about slurping that arm bone back in, and then reach up towards the ceiling. Let your right hand come to rest beside your face. Take 2 slow breaths. And then we're going to shift. So we're going to bring the feet down on the floor and roll over onto our back. So now the towel is situated in the upper back space. So a lot of times when we're together in the studio, I walk around and make sure that the heads of your shoulders can go down towards the floor, and that you're not, that your towel's not at the bottom of your rib cage, right, or your blanket usually. So once you make sure, and I'm gonna scoot down a little bit so you guys get a slightly better vision of what's happening here, okay? So for me, I'm a lady, I wear a bra. I've got my bra band as my guide for where the towel goes. So if you happen to have that kind of guide, or you're social distancing and you don't have that guide, or maybe you don't use that guide, think nipple line. So think about where your pectoral muscles are, and you want to be opposite the pectoral muscles. The other measure is you want to sort of feel the bottom edge of the shoulder blades. When you shrug your shoulders down, you want to feel the bottom edge of the shoulder blades sort of flip into the towel, okay? And we're going to let the arms reach out in a T, and I've got my feet going wide and knees falling in towards one another. And we're going to take 5 slow breaths here. I got a book delivery yesterday. I got a new book of poetry that I'm so excited to share with you guys. It's Carol Ann Duffy's book of poetry called The World's Wife. And it's a collection of poems playing with all of these different known stories. So there's some fun to be had together. Okay, we're going to now roll over to the other side. So my back is going to go towards you. We're going to go ahead and take that moment, as rude as that is. I'm going to roll towards the window here. So shift. I'm rolling towards my right side. You're going to roll towards whichever side you didn't do. Make sure that your shoulder is on the mat between whatever you're using for your head and whatever you're using to lift your chest. And then your knees are just bent. We're lying in the fetal position. Let your left hand or your upper hand just rest beside your face. And we're going to feel the opposite side of the ribs expand as we breathe 5 times. So you can let your eyes close and just feel the breath come in. And out. And in. And out. And don't worry if your breath pattern is faster or slower than mine. You do your 5 breaths. This is the beauty of working at a distance, is you can take care of your own body and not be disturbing the class. I was in a Zoom class today, and I had to make a restroom run, and nobody was bothered by it. That was good. All right, reach your top arm up towards the ceiling. Think about that, pushing your palm forward to draw the upper arm bone back, and then let your head come over your head, your arm come over your head and rest on the floor. And we'll take a few breaths here. Again, feeling the stretch from your elbow through your hips. You could mess around with the angle in your hips to make that side body line longer. And now we'll reach up towards the ceiling. Shrug the head of the shoulder down, push your palm forward, and then open the shoulder up. So you just might reach back a little bit. You might reach back a lot of bit. We'll do lots of stuff with this. We're just right now, we're exploring. And I know it feels like we're hanging out a bit because we are. So if it feels too much, just reach straight up towards the ceiling. Really reach through the fingertips, draw the shoulder blades back. Get action into the pectoral arch, into this space of collarbones, rib cage, shoulder blades, arm bone. It's the realm we're going to be visiting today. Bring your upper hand down. Oh, let's roll back onto our backs. So roll over. I'm still recovering from my little smack of my butt on the floor. That was when we were out rollerblading. That was a bummer. Okay, inline skating. Okay. So now we're going to move the arms alone, and then we'll get into some twisting. Feet flat on the floor, or if it feels better for you to extend your legs, that's fine too. Either of those options is fine. I'm going to keep my knees bent and let them fall together. Reach your arms up towards the sky and detach your heads of your shoulders from the floor. And then see if you can draw your upper arm bones down. I can't quite hit the floor, so maybe I'm going to take my towel out and see if I can hit the floor. Nope, still can't happen. Okay, reach up and drop down. So you're just squeezing between your shoulder blades. Retraction. Sorry, this is protraction. Retraction, draw them back. Protraction, reach them ahead. Retraction, pull them back. One more. Protract, retract. And then we're going to keep the retraction. Imagine the heads of the shoulders moving down towards your mat as you sweep your arms overhead. This is shoulder flexion. I know it doesn't feel like a flex, but we're moving in a flexion action. Notice if your belly released as you're reaching overhead. Did you reach with your, let go of your belly button so you could get your thumbs to go down? So let's come up towards the ceiling. Drop your low ribs down. So I'm even going to lift my bottom up and think about bringing my low ribs closer towards the floor, towards the blanket. Then plug the upper arm bones in and reach overhead again. So for me, that really intensifies the stretch across the whole path of the rib cage, from the manubrium down through the xiphoid process, that whole part of the rib cage there. And those aren't words you need to know, just from, collarbone to navel. Okay, and then let your shoulders do a little elevation, up towards your ears, and depression away from your ears. Up towards your ears, elevation, down towards your towel, depression, up and down. A couple more times. Let that happen. Just feel how that massages things. And then reach up and over and release your arms to the side. So we're going to take our first set of twists. So we're going to go ahead and roll on. I'm going to roll towards the camera, so I'm going to come onto my left shoulder. I'm going to make sure that the towel roll that's under my chest is mostly behind me, because we are going to twist open towards the space behind us. And if I have it this way, I'm going to fall off. Okay? So I'm pushing that over so that when I lie down, it's just the edge of my chest right there. Okay? You can make your head pillow as high or as low as you want it. Okay? Or you can ditch it. Make sure that you're choosing comfort. These poses should have a fair amount of comfort for your body. Reach your fingertips. So it's going to be this growing, okay? So they're my right fingertips. I'm coming out ahead of my left fingertips. So we're doing a little protraction. And then I'm going to reach up towards the ceiling and come back down. So we're massaging into the shoulder that's on the floor. Come up. We'll go 5 times and go back down. Inhale up and come back down. Inhale up and come back down. Inhale up and come back down. Now, this leg, my top leg, is going to move with me. When we're in the studio, this is something that we all struggle with, right? That I say stuff and sometimes we all do it and sometimes it's sort of like, I don't know what, the teacher's just talking. So live in for a moment. If you need to pause and watch, I'll do an extra cycle for you, okay? So my right leg, my top leg, is going to lift up. It's going to stay bent as it opens out, and then when I come to my back, I extend that leg long. Now you're not seeing that on the picture, but my right leg is straight and I'm opening my right arm towards my curtain back here, okay? Then I'm gonna bend up my right knee and roll back towards my left. So I'm coming back to that fetal position. So we'll do this whole arcing. Reach your right fingertips or your fingertips across your left. Open up, lift your upper leg, roll. So there's that roll back. I'm glad the towel's there to grab me. Extend the right leg long. Extend your right arm. You might even look towards your right fingertips. And then as we exhale, we're going to come back together. So we're going to go 4 more times. Inhale, reach out and open. Exhale and close. Inhale, reach out and open. Exhale and close. Inhale, reach out and open. Exhale and close. Now I'm going to offer you an opportunity with your hands, and I'm going to shift down in the image so you can see it. Again, watch this cycle and then do the next cycle. So I'm going to scoot myself down so you can see the arc of my hand. We put marks on the floor. I have my whiteboard markers on the floor, so hopefully you can all see everything that's happening here, okay? So now, before we were doing sort of this alligator mouth, right? Greater than, less than. Now we're going to trail the fingers along the floor and open out. Your leg can go as well, okay? So let's invite the leg to go with us. So I'll show you again. My right arm is going to reach out. I'm going to trail my fingers along the floor. If your fingertips don't go to the floor, if this is not in your body yet, don't worry about it. Stay with that alligator mouth, with the greater than, less thans, okay? There's good work to be found in both spaces. So we'll go 5 more cycles. The open out and close, or you're doing the trail. Inhale, trail, look to the right. Exhale, trail back. And I've got all kinds of fun stuff that I'm encountering with my fingertips. You may need to shove, your yoga therapy balls out of the way. Whatever's in your path of action, just shift it around. Hopefully it's something maneuverable. Come back. And let's go 1 more time. Open, stay open for a minute. Not really a minute, like 3 breaths. And then close it up. And we're going to stay with the twist. So now the knees are going to stay together. And if you need to, so the knees, right? All kinds of fun puns there. If you're finding that your hips are hurting or the knees are really wanting to pull up, you can do one of 2 things. You can bring something underneath your bottom knee, or you can place something between your 2 knees. So you just have that moment of awareness, something to push towards that allows you to keep a foundation as you go towards the open, okay? So the idea now is that the knees are going to stay, although this is not a hard and fast. This isn't a moment where I'm saying, if you don't do it, it's not going to work. This is a be playful in the body, find a little freedom, yes? So we'll take that right arm. You decide which path you're going to take, the overhead or the reach up and out, and take yourself into the twist. The knees are staying loosely to the left. The gaze might go loosely to the right or straight up towards the ceiling. And bring your awareness into the ribcage space. So we're going to breathe here. Imagine that we're breathing in yoga. Inhaling and exhaling. And giving your body an opportunity soften. If you were with me yesterday or with us yesterday, we did a lot of strengthening work, which always feels so good in my body, but it can lead to tension if we do only strengthening work. So today we're doing a little bit more of the somatic work that brings us into the fine places of the body, that encourages the connective tissues to relinquish their grip on one another, to create, as they say in Yoga Tune-Up, slide and glide in our tissues. And then let's roll over onto our sides. Remove anything that you've been using for your knees. And I'm going to roll and I'm going to flip. You can go ahead and just roll straight over, but I want to make sure you have a visual. So I'm going to roll and flip. So we'll come to lying on our second side. For me, that's my right side. I'm going to refluff my towel a little bit. All right. One of my friends was saying, I don't know, Sarah, every time I come to class, it's a laundry situation. So if it's feeling like too much laundry today, I promise tomorrow will be less laundry intensive. Tomorrow we are heading into some thinking about where to put your head and neck as we're twisting, okay? So let's draw the whole body into a fetal movement. And we're just gonna reach out away and draw back. Reach out away and draw back. Reach out away and draw back. Now, we'll reach out away up towards the ceiling. Let your top leg go. Open out. Miko Joy-Smith always calls this the modified X position. Come back. Inhale. Reach out away. Open. Exhale. Draw in. Inhale. Reach open. I am so grateful to Miko Joy-Smith, for teaching me this work. It dovetails really nicely with the stuff that I learned from my mom, who's a Feldenkrais practitioner. But this little work here, when I get done with it, I go, oh, I'm breathing so much better. I just feel so much more freedom in my body. It's so nice. All right, we've got 5 now with either the fingers trailing overhead or you stay with the alligator mouth. All right, so we'll reach out ahead, trail overhead or alligator mouth. Let the leg go. Let your gaze follow over to the left. And then come back on your exhale. So you're just really moving. Think more like, oh, a cat. I think a lot of somatic work feels like how a cat moves, you know. So if you have the benefit of a feline companion, let them be your teacher today. Let go of human teachings and go with feline teachings, right? I feel like cats know exactly how to discover what would feel so good. One more. And come back. Now we'll go into the twist and we'll keep the legs together. So you can choose block or extra towel or blanket or something between your knees or underneath your knee to sort of create a fixed place, or you don't need it. You know, it's not a tried and true. So we're going to stay in the twist and we'll move into it. Already I can't remember whether we moved in and out or stayed. I think we stayed, but I want to move in and out 3 times. Inhale, move into it. Just feel yourself visit it and then come back. If you are in the situation where when you visit it, this arm is floating, I don't like that feeling. So for you, I'd like you to reach your arm overhead and just let it rest by your ear, okay? Because you'll get enough. You can just sort of let the elbow drift back when you're in the sustained place. This floating stuff is really hard on the shoulder joint. So if you can't come all the way into the twist, let the arm rest on your face, okay? So we're going to come open
to the twist and give it 5 breaths. Your gaze might go over, it might go up towards the ceiling, but I want your attention now to be in the rib cage, in the side body. Let your ujjayi come fully into your practice. This is really great work if you're waking up in the middle of the night feeling really tense. Rolling around on the floor can be so nice. Like just going, oh, that's right. It felt really good to roll around on the floor on Tuesday with Sarah. Remember that. Bring your left hand towards the floor, close up the twist, press down, lift up, come to a seat, and you can sit on your towels if you want to. It's always good, you know, check your hairdo in the camera, but you know. Okay, come onto your towels and grab whatever amazing thing you found for a strap action, okay? And it doesn't matter to me how you have arranged your legs, just that you are in a space that you feel you can sustain for a bit. So if you need to send your legs out away from you, that's fine. If you need to sit down on a chair or on the edge of your couch, that's fine too. Just make sure that whatever place that you decide to be in, that you're not doing old slumpasana, right? That we're keeping the spine upright, whatever choices we're making. So I'm going to cross at my shins because that's my comfortable zone. But if you have a different comfortable zone, please use it, okay? And then I'm going to press down into my prop here and lift my butt a little bit and wiggle my butt around and then resettle. So I'm thinking about really landing the sit bones down. When we're twisting, it is imperative that we have a solid foundation. So it doesn't matter whether the twist is happening with the lower body and we're using the shoulders for the foundation, or if the twist is happening with the upper body and we're using the hips. So that's why when twisting, when we cue it, we're so careful about making sure that we're clear on keep your hips down and then rotate your chest, or keep your shoulders down and then move your legs, okay? So today it's gonna be a lot of keep your hips down and then move your shoulders. There are a couple of interesting things, and I'm gonna try to be brief with it. But the end of the vertebrae that are running up and down in your rib cage have a little hook down. So they're called the, doesn't matter what they're called because that's not gonna come to me, but they're sitting on each other and they hook down towards one another. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. They hook down towards one another. So when we twist, they sort of impede. They impede a lot of huge back bending, which is okay. And they also can impede some twisting. So you need to be really aware that part of your body structure is going to say, hey, I don't twist, and that's fine. So our real work is to use our twists as an elongation of the spine, to make things longer, so that when we do lift and rotate, that we're moving those bones away from one another before we try to twist. If we crunch down and then try to twist, we push those bones into each other. So really we're wanting to make distance and then rotation, all right? So we're gonna talk a little bit about that, and I'll show you, I'll try to show you some things, okay? So here you are, sitting, feels good. Reach your right hand down towards the floor. Roll your right shoulder back a couple of times. Ooh. Notice how that feels. And then move that right shoulder back and reach behind you slightly. And we're going to think about that push forward we did earlier. Push those fingers down, push the palm forward, and draw the shoulder blade down the back. Now this is going to shove the rib cage forward. So let yourself feel that shove of the rib cage forward. Now, see if you can keep the shoulder where it is, but move the rib cage back. All right, get longer. Reach your left arm up. Inhale, why not?
And now we're going to turn, rotate to the right, take the back of your left hand to the outside of your right knee. And then notice if you've slumped, right? If we've slumped, we've reduced the space in the spine. So we want to come upright. We want to think about keep the left hip down, draw the navel point in, lengthen through the whole halfway of the spine, and then rotate. And breathe. Bring your left arm up, rotate forward, release your left hand down, bring your right arm up, release forward. Okay, let's switch the cross of the legs. Why not? If you're crossing your legs, it's nice to have that little break in between. Take your left hand, sweep it down towards the floor, roll the left shoulder around. Yeah, find some movement. Some joy in having shoulders. So yesterday, deep philosophical questions were asked in the household. We're sitting at the table and Julie says, Mom, why are our hearts associated with love? I was like, you've come to the right person. Okay, sneak your left fingers back and then turn your palm forward. Think about that press we did earlier. Push the palm forward, draw the head of the shoulder back. Feel yourself go into that arch and then keep this shoulder back. Draw the rib cage back. Think about lengthening through the spine. Keep this right hip down. Reach your right arm up. Inhale. Exhale. Rotate to the left. Bring your right hand to the outside of your left knee. Keep this sense of pushing the left palm forward to draw that left shoulder blade onto your back. And breathe. And then come forward. So it was a lot of, let's just mobilize here, wiggle around. So I was talking to her about how anatomically the arms and the heart are connected, and also that that's where we feel, you know, when somebody says something wonderful to us, we can feel it. We get a sensation in our chest. So that's why the heart is associated with. But it was an interesting exploration. Good kids. All right, reach your arms forward. Protract, retract, reach out. Oh, and then do that trick. You're not going to be able to see my palms, but my palms are pushing forward and I'm dragging my shoulders back. So push your palms forward, drag your shoulders back. Feel that lift in the center of the chest. Notice that the rib cage might go too. Pull the rib cage back. Inhale, reach all the way up. Now, look, Mom, no hands. Turn to the right. See if you can pick up the belly like we did yesterday. Turn a little bit further. Maybe the left hand slips to the outside of the right thigh. Maybe your right hand reaches back and touches the floor behind you. Or maybe it slips around and says hi over there by your left hip. Think about both shoulders moving back, pushing your chest forward without that little slump to the side, right? We want to think about really long spaces. And I notice that I've got to tuck my right ribs in a little bit to really get into the length of my spinal column. Inhale, come center. Undo your legs. Ha. Okay. Cross the other way. Reach your arms out, palms forward. Push your palms forward. Hua. Draw your shoulder blades together and push them into your chest. Feel that lift up. Feels so good. And then scoot the ribs back. So we're getting all this beautiful lift in the center of the chest, but we're also committed to it. Right? Like, it's not just a flop. It's a, oh, I am drawing in and reaching out. Lift up. Turn to the left. Right hand sliding to the outside of the left leg. Left hand slipping back. Maybe it touches the floor behind you. Maybe it slips around and says hi. Over by your right hip. Roll those shoulders. Drop the tail, lengthen through. Let your breath be part of your practice. Notice if you're slumping, right? Sometimes in order to get the movement, we drop a shoulder. That's fine. You may need to back out. Maybe grab onto your shin. Poke your left ribs back in. You want to have that movement into the body as you're going into rotation. So good. Inhale your way out and pause. Twists are really great for releasing energy, so you might be getting warm. We've been baking. The house is warm. I hear tell that the weather is going to get warm this week too. Okay, so let's shift around a little bit. Let's take a little bit more strengthening space into the shoulders and belly, and then we're going to come back. There's some really fun things I want to show you with rib cage mobilization before we come to our final twist. Okay, so, and we haven't used the strap yet, so that's in my mind too. I'm going to leave that right there. Remind me. Okay, hands and knees. If you need those towels for your knees, give you some extra yummy padding, then do that. Perfectly acceptable. Inhale, take a cow. Exhale, take a cat. Shift a little in your cat space. Shift your weight to the right and shift your weight to the left. Still breathing. Make sure that your hands are spread out. You've got nice spread palms. Shift your weight around in a circle. Now let your spine slip. So you can go towards cow and cat. Remember, I was hanging out with some folks. I was doing teacher training stuff, and somebody was saying, which was totally legit, she's like, I can't remember which one's cow and which one's cat. So cow, the belly is softening like you've got udders. Okay. Cat, think Halloween. Arching out. Flat cat's going, right? Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And then go around in the other direction. So you're just moving around. If you're able to really spread your fingers out and take up space, we can create this fixed place for the hands that allows us to explore all of the various options in the shoulders. So let that be part of the fun. Okay, lower down towards your forearms and press the palms together. Right? Palms pressed together, shrug the shoulders back, and we're just going to move nose towards thumbs and then press back. Nose towards thumbs and press back. And as you press back, think about your navel moving in towards your spine. So you're going more towards the Halloween pose, the cat there. Inhale. Exhale. Then we do want those core spaces that we talked about yesterday to definitely be with us. The slow twitch fibers of the transverse abdominis, of the external and internal obliques drawing in. So they're stabilizing the spinal muscles. Shrug the shoulders back, come to neutral. Shoulders right over elbows. And we're going to start to journey the knees back. Okay, so it's going to start to feel like work as we drop the pelvis down. You may be right here. You may kick back into your toes and lift your knees off. I'm going to take 5 breaths. Shrug the shoulders. Press the tailbone away. Lengthen the crown of the head forward. Knees go down, press back towards puppy dog or child's pose. And here, you could play with the upper back space. So we're going to play with this in Sphinx.
in a few moments. But you can play with it in puppy dog. So in puppy dog, you can do a drop of the chest towards the floor. There's your little cat action. And then you can arch away. You can have a look. Excuse me, that's the cow action here. Cow action is chest towards the floor. So you can play into that space. I notice that I drop my belly a lot, so I'm going to try to engage my navel as I drop my chest and as I arch. So maybe I'm not going as low, okay? Come, shoulders over elbows, press your palms together, lift your low rib cage, press the crown of the head forward. Maybe you stay right here. Maybe you journey the knees back a bit. Maybe you kick into the toes. I know you can't see my feet there, so you're gonna have to imagine my toes are tucked under. 5 more breaths. Knees go down, and this time let's play with lifting the hands up. So you're going to shift your weight back so that your forehead can come to the floor. Maybe that happens for you today, maybe it doesn't. If it does, great. Let your forehead come to the floor. And then make sure you're not dumping, right? So we can overextend in the lumbar spine here. Like right now, I'm going to exaggerate that space. I can really drop down, right, and sort of dump into my back. So I'm going to think about lifting the belly as I'm dropping down. So I'm taking the chest towards the floor. Then I'm going to bend my elbows and take my thumbs towards the base of my neck. You might be touching the backs of your shoulders. You might be touching your neck. Then you press your elbows down and draw your chest towards your thighs. So it's this, press down with the elbows, press the chest towards your thighs, and breathe. So we're stretching out the backs of the arms here. Try to get your shoulders out of your ears. Bring the arms down, lift your head, smile. It's just yoga. Just loving up this amazing body. Okay, elbows under shoulders again. Final time in that forearm plank. Shrug the shoulders back, lift the low ribs, draw the belly in, and then you can start that movement forward with the crown of your head. So you think about deepening your throat back. There's tomorrow's work. Why not do tomorrow's work today also? Lift the ribs, the belly, step one foot, or just walk your knees back a bit. Okay, we just want to feel our bellies turn on. We want to feel the stabilization through the shoulders. Maybe you take your knees off. Drop the knees down, and let's come on up. Decapitated myself there for a moment. All right, here we are. Coming on up, and we're going to play into some of this movement, okay? Grab your strap. So think, measure shoulder distance on your strap. Sort of what would that be? It was from the inside edge of, or sort of from armpit to armpit, okay? And then reach that strap ahead of you and pull it apart. So really make it taut. Retraction, reach up. Now, lean over to a side. Think about the hip that you're leaning away from, really grounding down. You don't have to be sitting back on your heels. I just happen to be sitting on my heels. You can also do this sitting on your bum. You can do this sitting in your couch, on a kitchen chair. Inhale, come up. Shrug the shoulders down. Pull the strap apart. Move the ribs back. And go to the other side. Think about that high five we did earlier. Pressing the palms forward to draw the shoulder blades onto the back and then scoot the ribs back. Yes. Inhale up. Exhale, release the space. And we're going to do a little dancing around with this. So we're going to go now outer shoulders. Find outer shoulders with a towel or whatever you're using. Reach your way. Come up. Go to a side. And then reach back. Okay? So play with reaching forward and twisting. And then reach up and back. Forward and twist. Up and back. Forward and twist, up and back, and then come up and bring your arms down. Just notice that activates your heart rate a bit. So give yourself a moment. Reach your arms forward, draw forward. Draw onto your back, lift your sternum, knit those ribs back, lengthen up, we'll go to the other side. And now it's a reach forward with that upper arm, and then reach back, and maybe look back. Reach forward, and then up and back. Reach forward, and up and back. Reach forward, and up and back, and then come up and release. So we'll broaden our space. Think now, it may be 3 feet. Okay, so I've got a lot of space. I'm going out of the edges of the camera here. Up to the left, and then I'm going to bend my right elbow and swing my left arm behind me. And then I'm going to reach out to the left. Sweep around, right hand goes down, bend my left elbow, sweep back behind me, swirl forward, right arm up, bend the right elbow, reach back behind me, swirl forward, just plain, bend your left elbow, sweep back. It doesn't have to be precise, it just has to have feeling in it. It has to go, oh yeah, those are my body parts too. I think I'll love them today. Or at least talk to them. Huh? Speaking of loving them, I'm going to call my parents today. It's Tuesday. It's their day to get a check-in. So notice who you're checking in with today. Go one more time to the right. Oh, reach it back. And then come back forward. Okay. Eagle arms. Settle your shoulders. Knit the ribs back. Right arm is going to reach underneath left. We've lost ourselves. Here I'm back. Okay. Right arm is underneath the left. Push your left arm forward. Shrug the shoulders down. Enjoy this 3 breaths. Reach out of the space. Release your arms down. Open your arms out wide on your inhale. Think about that high five action. Left arm's coming underneath right. Pull your right arm across your body. Push the left arm forward. Lift your right elbow. Shrug your shoulders down. 2 more breaths. Inhale, reach up and out of it. Exhale, sweep down. Okay, we're going to complicate them and we're going to add some rotational movement. So this is going to be the movement. Let's practice the movement before we add the arms. Put your hands on your knees and let your chest go forward and to the left and back behind you and over to the right and forward. So we're drawing this circle. The other day we drew it with our belly button. Now I want you to think about drawing it with the center of your sternum. So really draw. It's a circle right there in front of us. It's in that plane. I never get the planes of the body quite right. Even in my head. Okay, shift to the right, back behind you, draw forward. Turns out I still can operate as a human being without knowing the anatomical planes perfectly.
I'm very glad of that fact. Reach forward and back behind you. So feeling this space, right? So really moving the rib cage. Now we're gonna fix the shoulders and move the rib cage again. And you may discover some cool things. So the thing that we're gonna think about circling our elbows here. You can bend your elbows, inhale, reach out. Right arm is gonna come underneath left. And then either the backs of the hands press, or you come into this space. You could think about hugging opposite shoulders if you don't get the backs of the hands together, or the palms can come together, okay? And I want you just to do a little up and down with your elbows. A little up and down. Okay? Now, stir things around with your elbows. Go to the left. So we're really reaching forward and then back. And then let's go to the right. Now we're going to draw circles like a clock face in front of us. So we're going to go up, over to the right, down towards the right knee, across the lap towards the left knee, up towards the sky. And I want you to see how slowly, I know it can be a little bit mind-numbing sometimes to feel as many sensations as are in the rib cage, in the shoulders. So if you can move slowly, I invite you to, but if you need to move it quickly because that's where you're at. I can't see you. All right, go the other way. To the left, left knee down towards your lap, right knee up. I recommend inhaling as you're in the upper arc of things and exhaling as you're in the lower arc of things. And then release and pause. So for me, that's just a lot of information about the tension that's in my upper back, in my shoulders. So I'm going to imagine grounding that business. I'm going to imagine it all flooding into the floor, letting the fabulous rocky earth of Claremont just take that. And I'll say thank you, that I don't have to hold on to that my body was able to store it for me, and now I can release it. All right, elbows bent. Ooh, reach out, yes. Left arm is gonna come underneath right now. And either you touch opposite shoulders, or you bring the backs of the hands, or you bring the palms. And we'll start with those ups and downs. Just elbows up and elbows down. It's never just. I keep trying to eliminate just from my vocabulary when I'm teaching. It's never just, right? It's also pressing down through your sit bones and lifting up through your navel and breathing. But it's also, awesome. Okay? Now we'll think about drawing circles right in front of us as if you were stirring your cookie dough, your bread dough, your noodles, whatever it is you've been making, your beans. Go ahead the other way, your lentils. I made some really yummy curry last night. I put in too many chilies. Everyone but Eden ate it. And we're out of Cheerios, so make sure you reverse your circles. That was trauma. In a very small way, right? But still. Fortunately, he's almost 11. Okay, now take your elbows to the left, up, over to the right, and down. To the left, up, over to the right, and down. To the left, up, over to the right, and down. Try to move it slowly so you can feel all of the spots that are like, oh my gosh, I have not played tennis. Or oh my gosh, I have not been out to the golf course. Reverse sides, all of those things that you had been doing, and now the body's like, we miss it. feel those things. Make sure you've reversed. Fortunately, you don't have to be in public to do yoga. All right, feel all that situation and release it. It is 12, which is really good. All right, I want to take one more twist. Actually, we're going to take 2 seated twists, not just one. We're going to take 2 seated twists, and then we are going to move on to our backs. So you may want to sit down on your towels. In fact, I recommend it if you're not sitting on them already. Okay. And extend your legs out ahead of you. And you might mobilize, here's Fubo, come in and check in. Mobilize your ankles, both ways. Check in with your spine. Oh yeah. All right, bring your hands back behind you. Roll your shoulders back. Let's go for a little back bend space. And then just feel from the linea alba of the body, right? So from the sternum to the seam between your pubic bones, your pubis symphysis space, just feel whether you're engaged or whether you're flopping in that space. And see if you can drop your tail down, draw the navel point in a little bit, and then lift your chest higher. Oh, okay, come upright. Bring the right knee in towards you. And pause. So, this one, there are always choices, right? There are always choices in yoga for where our body can go. But this one in particular has a lot of guide points about whether you've found your grounding, your foundation. The first order of business is that the right foot has to be planted all the way on the floor the whole time. So, if you're here and that feels pretty easy, you can wiggle your arms around, then you try the next thing, which is to step your right foot over your left leg. And then you check it out. Can you feel the ball of your right foot, the whole thing from big toe mound to pinky toe mound down, inner heel to outer heel? If you can, fabulous, you can stay right here. If you cannot, you've got to back out. It will be better for your spine because you won't be doing some weird reachy thing and then just kinking your vertebrae into one another, right? That's not interesting to the body. It's injurious, okay? So you choose foot down or foot over, but make sure it's grounding. Then, if you wanted to journey on further, you might bring your left foot over by your right side of your bum. You can see I just leaned over to get there. It's fine to lean over to get there, but you have to make sure that you can replant the right side of your butt because you need to have equal length along your spine in order to get a fabulous twist, right? In order to get therapeutic benefit from your twist. Draw your shoulders back, lift the center of your chest. Make sure you're not kinking, right? Maybe you don't have the camera to look at, to see yourself, but make sure that your shoulders are level in space, that your right hip is dropping down, that your left hip is dropping down. If it isn't, re-extend, okay? Right hand is gonna come down to the floor. Do that little press forward. Draw the shoulder blade onto the back. Move the ribs back. Think length. Right now, get lots of length. Reach your left arm up. And then we're going to turn the chest to the right. The back of the left hand is coming to the right thigh. And you breathe. And you might be feeling a lot in your thigh and not so much around your spine, around your twist. Or you might be feeling more in your twist. Make sure that you feel not kinky, okay? We want to think about pulling the inner thighs together, making the spine longer, making both sides of the bottom heavy so that we can get a little bit more rotation. Then think about pressing your right hand forward to get that right shoulder blade onto your back to turn your rib cage a little bit further. and then come back. Oh, feels so good. Undo. Send away. Okay? Mobilize your feet. Realizing the camera's tilted down. You guys are getting fabulous distortion. You might want to mobilize your wrist too. Why not? Okay. Left foot, left knee is going to bend. Left foot comes to the floor. Recognize what that feels like. Notice if you did a little slip to the right. It's okay. But then re-engage down towards the floor. Get that lengthening going down, navel point going in, so you can get all of the intervertebral discs to have space, right? It's like fluffing your hair. Space. We want space. Fluff your spine. Okay, enough goofiness. Then you check it out. Are you going to step over? Can you ground and step over? Can you keep both sides of the bottom down and step over? If you can't, step back across. Then you check. Is it therapeutic for your body to bring your right heel back towards your left hip? You'll know it is if you can keep both sides of the bum down and you don't have pain, right? Squeeze the inner thighs together. Slip your left hand back, left arm. Hand and arm, if you say them together, it sounds like arm. Not a good one. Okay, hand or arm. Back. Think about pushing the palm forward. Shoulder blade on the back. Retract the rib cage. Right arm reaches up. Inhale. Exhale, rotate to the left. Back of your right arm to the outside of your left thigh. Pick up your belly button. Turn it to the left. Press both shoulder blades onto the back. Make sure you're not curling to get there, right? If you're curling to get there and you're holding your breath, fly, okay? Back out. Not worth it. I want you to walk away from this session feeling freer. It's not about how far you go. It's about how awesome you feel in your body when you're done. And yes, we want to sneak towards that sensation. I am realizing I did not do enough for my outer hills today. Okay, so I'm going to do that tomorrow. The next time I come to my mat, I'll take care of that. But we want to be in that space where it's like, yes, this feels like it's going to be beneficial when I'm done. Inhale, come back. Move your legs, undo. Okay, and it is nearly time. I have used the time today. So we're going to take one twist where we fix the shoulders. Oh, no, wait. Yes, we are. That's what we're going to do. One twist where we fix the shoulders, and then we'll move towards Shavasana. Okay. I said two seated twists, but it didn't happen today. You make sure I'm still in your view. Okay. You got two options. So, absolutely 100% shoulders down. Okay? Both shoulders towards the floor. Don't cheat on that. Everything else can be a negotiation. Okay? Now, your option is squeeze your knees together and go over towards your towels, wherever they are, and be here. Or, cross your right leg over your left leg. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Float the knees towards your chest and take the twist to the left. Okay? This is going to put you in a more intense, Liz for the bow. Okay. We've got workers at the back of the skin. Roll the right shoulder towards the floor and let yourself breathe. This is going to be a side body moment, a spine moment. Squeeze your inner thighs, bring yourself up, uncross if you're crossed. Then if you're going to your towels,
You move them in and scoot them over to the other side, so you got them, okay? And then you're either gonna bring your knees up and go over to those towels and just enjoy a less complicated twist, making sure your shoulders are down. Now the shoulders are the fixed point, right, of this twist. Or left leg comes up, crosses as high on the thighs as you can, squeeze the inner thighs together, and drop your knees to the right. Keep both shoulders down. Maybe your gaze goes over to the left. Turns out when Carrie Ann and Lance aren't here, you get a lot more luxury. Squeeze, lift the knees up, maneuver them back, okay? And then check in. It might feel really good at this moment to take yourself towards a bridge pose. It might feel really good at this moment to take yourself to a happy baby pose. It might feel good at this moment to bring yourself into a hip stretch. It might feel good to release your body completely and take Shavasana. So, make some choices. Spend 5 to 10 breaths doing for yourself. Letting your body be your yoga teacher. And then when you've taken those 5 to 10 breaths in poses, in asanas, that your body was saying, hey, I want that one. Then get yourself set up for relaxation. And I'm going to share our poems. So I've got 2 silly ones and one a little bit more serious. So I'll start with the silly. This is the book, The World's Wife. The World's Wife, poems by Carol Ann Duffy. And Mrs. Darwin. 7th of April, 1852. Went to the zoo. I said to him, something about that chimpanzee over there reminds me of you. And then I'm more serious. Letting your body settle into the floor. Letting the backs of your legs stretch long. Move your arms around so that your shoulders feel freer. Let your head rock a little side to side so your neck feels freer. Mrs. Midas. It was late September. I just poured a glass of wine, began to unwind while the vegetables cooked. The kitchen filled with the smell of itself, relaxed, its steamy breath gently blanching the windows. So I opened one, then with my fingers wiped the other's glass like a brow. He was standing under the pear tree, snapping a twig. Now the garden was long and visibly poor, the way the dark of the ground seems to drink the light of the sky. But that twig in his hand was gold. And then he plucked a pear from a branch. We grew fondante de automne and sat in his palm like a light bulb on. I thought to myself, is he putting fairy lights in the tree? He came into the house. The doorknobs gleamed. He drew the blinds. You know the mind. I thought of the field of the cloth of gold and of Mrs. Macready.
He sat in that chair like a king on a burnished throne, and the look on his face was strange, wild, vain. I said, "What in the name of God is going on?" He started to laugh. I served up the meal. For starters, corn on the cob. Within seconds, he was spitting out the teeth of the rich. He toyed with his spoon, then mine, then with the knives, the forks. He asked, where was the wine? I poured, with shaking hand, a fragrant, bone-dry white from Italy, then watched as he picked up the glass goblet, golden chalice, drank. It was then that I started to scream. He sank to his knees. After we both calmed down, I finished the wine on my own, hearing him out. I made him sit on the other side of the room and keep his hands to himself. I locked the cat in the cellar. I moved the phone. The toilet, I didn't mind. I couldn't believe my ears. How he'd had a wish. Look, we all have wishes, granted. But who has wishes granted? Him. Do you know about gold? It feeds no one. Arum, soft, untarnishable, slacks no thirst. He tried to light a cigarette. I gazed entranced as the blue flame played on its Lucius stem. At last, I said, you'll be able to give up smoking for good. Separate beds. In fact, I put a chair against my door, near petrified. He was below, turning the spare room into a tomb of Tutankhamun. You see, we were passionate then, in those halcyon days, unwrapping each other rapidly like presents, fast food. But now I feared his honeyed embrace, the kiss that would turn my lips to a work of art. And who, when it comes to the crunch, can live with a heart of gold? That night, I dreamt I bore his child, its perfect ore limbs, its little tongue like a precious latch, its amber eyes holding their pupils like flies. My dream milk burned in my breast. I woke to the streaming sun. So he had to move out. We'd a caravan in the wilds, in a glade of its own. I drove him up under the cover of dark. He sat in the back. And then I came home, the woman who'd married the fool who wished for gold. At first I visited, odd times, parking the car a good way off, then walking. You know you were getting close, trout on the grass. One day a hair hung from a larch, a beautiful lemon mistake, and then his footprints, glistening next to the river's path. He was thin, delirious. Hearing, he said, the music of Pan from the woods. Listen, that was the last straw. What gets me now is not the idiocy or greed, but the lack of thought for me. Pure selfishness. I sold the contents of the house and came down here. I think of him in certain lights, dawn, late afternoon, and once a bowl of apples stopped me dead. I miss most, even now, his hands, his warm hands on my skin, his touch. From wherever you're at, feel the touch of your body against the floor. Bring your arms around and give yourself a hug. Draw your knees in. Rock a little. Roll to a side. Press into the floor. And bring yourself to a seat. We all have wishes granted, but who has wishes granted? Press your hands into one another. Move your navel back. Draw into your ribs. Lift the center of your chest. Your own golden light. Bow your head. The light inside of me is so grateful for that same light inside each of you. Thank you for sharing this time with me, this
practice with yourself and with me. Be well, my dears. Thank you. Have an absolutely fabulous Tuesday. And we'll be here tomorrow. We're going to do some how to use the neck and head in twists. And I will do that, Nancy. All right. Take care. Nancy wants titles. All right. See you all later. You're welcome. So good to have you here.